Hello, I'm Dr. Prashant Rajpal. I work as a consultant neuropsychiatrist in UK. I've been asked to share my views on this deadly viral pandemic. A new coronavirus identified as Covid-19 virus is the etiological agent which is responsible for 2019-2020 viral pneumonia outbreak that commenced in Wuhan. As first encountered in November 2019, has gone on to affect over 460,000 people globally. A quarter of the world's population is living under some form of lockdown. India, being the second most populous state, imposed a strict lockdown on 1.3 billion citizens. Southern Europe remains at the epicenter of the pandemic, with Spain's and Italy's death toll has surpassed that of China. The mortality rate seems to be around 2%. For comparison, SARS had a death rate of more than 10%, and the seasonal flu typically has a death rate of below 1%. Coronavirus have subsets, one of them being COVID-19. The other ones are SARS and MERS. SARS stands for Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome virus, the outbreak of which happened in China in 2002-2004. MERS, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome virus, the outbreak of which happened in Saudi Arabia in 2012. All of these seem to have a condensed sequence. This unfolds into a unique structure called as stem-to motif. This is required for virus survivability. Now, COVID-19 shares up to 80 to 90% of its genetic material with the virus that caused SARS. Both consist of strip of ribonucleic acid. We call them as RNA. Inside the spherical protein capsule that is covered in spikes. The spikes lock onto the receptors of the cells lining the human lung, allowing the virus to break into the cell. Once inside, it then hijacks the cell's reproductive machinery to produce more copies of itself before breaking out the cell again and killing it in a process. This family of COVID-19 is passed from animals to humans, called as zoonotic diseases, which are relatively rare. The main concern is when they first emerge, is that they are new strains and also new to humans, so the human body does not yet have the immunity to fight against it. The testing for respiratory illness, coronavirus disease, is essentially done via two methods. The specimens of which are taken from nasopharynx or a sputum sample, which is then analyzed through polymerase chain reaction to detect genetic material, nucleic acid. The other method being serological testing to test for antibodies. Those infected may either be asymptomatic or develop symptoms including high fever. New continuous cough means coughing a lot more than an hour or 3 or more coughing episodes in 24 hours. Coronavirus can make anyone seriously ill, but they are high-risk people who've had organ transplant, who are taking immunosuppressants, who have certain types of cancer or cancer treatments. People have blood or bone marrow cancer, people who have severe lung conditions such as cystic fibrosis or severe asthma, people have a condition that makes them much more likely to have infections, women who are pregnant, and people who have serious heart conditions. Now, if you're at high risk of getting seriously ill from coronavirus, there are extra things you should do to avoid catching it, such as not leaving your home. You should not go out for shopping, pick up medications, or even exercise. Stay at least 2 meters or 3 steps away from other people in your home as much as possible. If you are self-isolating, you must not leave your home for any reason other than exercise once a day. But stay at least 2 meters, which is 3 steps away from the people. Not go out to buy any food or get any medications. Order them by phone, online, or you may ask someone else to drop them. Not have visitors such as friends, relatives in your home. Now, if you have symptoms of coronavirus, you'll also need to self-isolate for 7 days. After 7 days, if you do not have high temperature, you do not need to self-isolate. If you still have a high temperature, keep self-isolating until your temperature returns back to normal. You do not need to self-isolate if you just have a cough over 7 days, as the cough may last for several weeks, even after the infection is gone. If you live with someone who has symptoms, then you need to self-isolate for about 14 days from the day when their symptoms started, as it may take about 14 days for the symptoms to appear. If you're living with someone who's over 70 or pregnant or has a long-term condition or has a weakened immune system, you may try to arrange for them to stay with the family or friends for 14 days. You need to reduce the spread of infection in your home by washing hands more often for at least 20 seconds each time. Use hand sanitizers. Cover your mouth or nose with a tissue paper or your sleeve, not your hands, when you cough or sneeze. Put used tissues in the bin straight away and wash your hands afterwards. Clean objects and surfaces you touch, like door handles, kettles, phones, using your regular cleaning products. You need to look after your health. Drink plenty of fluids and water to stay hydrated. Take paracetamol to help you ease your symptoms. There is no strong evidence to suggest that Brufen can make coronavirus worse. However, if you have conditions like gastritis or severe asthma, you need to be cautious. Try to keep yourself busy. You could try involving yourself in activities which you like cooking, reading, online games, learning, watching films. Stay in touch with your family and friends over the phone, social media, to help you avoid feeling low or lonely. Now, the government in UK are arranging for test kits to test if someone has already had coronavirus illness. But how effective they are to prevent the spread is yet to be known. With the World Health Organization finally declaring a pandemic, all eyes have turned to the prospect of vaccine, because only a vaccine can prevent people from getting sick. Traditionally, immunization has been achieved using live, weakened forms of virus or part or whole of the virus once it has been inactivated using heat or chemicals. One of the strategy is to build a recombinant vaccine, which involves extracting the genetic code for the protein spike on the surface of COVID, which is the part of the virus most likely to provoke an immune reaction in humans, and pasting it to the genome of a bacterium or yeast, forcing these microorganisms to churn out large quantity of proteins. The trials are on, and it's important we don't take any shortcuts. Once regulatory approval is made, vaccines is going to be needed in vast quantities to protect the masses from getting ill. This is people's war against the virus. We will do it. Hope we all get through this together. Till then, stay home and stay safe.